Okay, Dave, we have a quorum?
Yeah, 41.
Okay, thank you. All right, under the President's report, I have two things to say. Yes. Oh, 2 minutes, go.
Because of publishing deadlines, the minutes of both the December and the January delegates meetings appear in the February edition of the Cobrua Reporter. Has anyone found any additions, corrections, or omissions from either of those minutes? Are there any objections to accepting both minutes as published in the Cobrua Reporter? Thank you, the minutes are accepted.
Okay, President's report, two things. We had the show by the residents, which was very good. I attended, and they properly thanked everyone who helped them out, Judy and everybody, but they forgot somebody. They forgot the M&O committee. The M&O committee is the committee that approves the budget, the money for them. So it's an oversight, but I'd just like everyone to know that the M&O committee did approve the money for that show this year. Okay, I have something very important, and I want you to listen. I never usually say it's very important, but please listen to this. It affects not only the delegates, not only everyone in this room, but all of the residents in Century Village. Okay. Cobrua and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department invite you to a presentation and questions and answers on security. When you need to know to stay safe, what you need to know to stay safe in our community and outside of the community. What's going to happen, it'll be on 63 in Cobrua Reporter. What's going to happen is the Sheriff's Department is coming here 11 o'clock on Friday the 25th, 11 a.m. in the morning. And we have Judy. I'd like to thank Sid, Maggie, and Judy Milligan because she made this room, the party room, available to us because we expect a lot of people here. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. on the Friday the 25th, yes. Everybody. Everyone in this room, delegates, everyone in this room, and all of the residents of Century Village. It will be in the Cobrua Reporter, and it will be on 63, and we'll remind you, excuse me. Okay, yes. Yeah, March 25th. It'll be March 25th. You assume it's February. I said March. You assume it's February. It's March. Because we had to have, they're very busy, and we were lucky, I have to tell you, we're lucky to get to state. So it's very important because everyone in the community will be invited to ask questions. And they'll talk about, I spoke to them, they will talk about security not only here in the village, but outside of the village, and how you can protect yourself. I think it's very important that we do something like that. Okay, we have a new president here from Rexford, Karen Sachs. Karen, you want to stand up there? There's a new president from Rexford, Karen. Thank you for accepting the job, thank you. Okay, that's it for me. Treasurer's report, Lynn?
Yes. A checking account was $14,619. Excuse me. Our CD is $37,745 for a total of $52,364. Last month's balance was $55,987. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, we have an election coming up next month, and Lynn's in charge of elections. Lynn, you want to do that now?
Yes, we have nominations now. Fred, we have nominations coming from the floor for all positions, and Fred, who is chairperson of the election committee, will now come up to the podium.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning, delegates and neighbors in Century Village. My name is Fred Hadley, resident of Cornwall E. For the second year in a row, I was elected chairperson of the Cobrua Election Committee, and I will be presiding over the nomination procedures today. There will be an election on March the 8th in this room to fill 8 open positions for Cobrua office and 4 open positions on the M&O committee. Of course, that stands for Management and Operation Committee, one of our most important committees. Anyone planning to run can be nominated from the floor at today's delegate meeting. If a candidate wants to put a statement in the Cobrua Reporter, your deadline will be February 10th. Your statement must be emailed to the Cobrua office, which I believe it's editorcobrua@aol.com. Maggie, the editor, is sitting right over there. It must be emailed to the Cobrua office either in the body of an email or an attached Word document under 300 words. PDF files, all caps, handwritten or scanned will not be accepted. No exceptions. If there is a question on format, call Maggie at the Cobrua office or speak to her at the end of the meeting. She's on your right side, delegates. All candidates may also make a statement from the floor on election day before the ballots are cast. Nominations are now in order for the 4 M&O committee openings. Very briefly, we have 7 positions on M&O with a staggered expiration term. So this year being an even-numbered year, 4 openings are occurring. And the odd years, you have 3. This way you have some continuity on the Management and Operations Committee. The following people have filed their intent to run for M&O committee in alphabetical order. Al D. Pertoro, Michael Limongelli, Charles Rosenfeld, and Ted Spar. In order to be eligible to run for a position as an M&O committee member, a candidate at the time of election must be a permanent resident of Century Village West who is a unit owner of record. A permanent resident is defined as a person who has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year and be either a member of the executive board or a director of a constituent member condominium association of Cobrua. Do we have any nominations from the floor for the Management and Operation Committee?
I put my name in nomination for a member of M&O committee.
Okay, would you state your name just for the record?
Sydney Schwartz.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for any of the 4 positions on the Management Operations Committee? Hearing none, I now close nominations for the Management and Operation Committee. Nominations are now in order for the 8 open positions for Cobrua office. The following people have filed their intent to run for Cobrua office. Now, officers, when I read your name out, just for the new people, please raise your hand. I'm looking around. Is Mike Limongelli? Oh, yes, there you are. Mike Limongelli is running for president. Dave Merzon is running for first vice president. Sid Schwartz, who you just were introduced to, is running for second vice president. Lynn Roberts will run for treasurer. Stanley Siegel will run for budget director. Alan Perlman, who does a wonderful job, is running for recording secretary. And Dave Fisher, you're going to have to turn your head to see Dave, is our sergeant at arms. Although today one arm is bandaged, so we're going to call him sergeant at arm. All elected officials.
You left out Ted.
What's that?
You left out Ted.
Oh,
Financial.
I'm sorry, I skipped Ted. Sorry about that. Ted Spar, Financial Secretary. So those are the 8. So it's everybody on the dais plus Dave in the back. All elected officers shall be unit owners or the designated representative of a unit, shall reside in Century Village West for a minimum of 9 months during the calendar year, and shall have served at least 1 year as a delegate or director of his or her member condominium association. No unit shall be permitted to have more than 1 unit owner or designated representative elected as an officer. No unit owner may be elected to more than 1 office. Do we have any nominations from the floor for president? Anyone? Okay. At this time, I would like to nominate myself for the office of president. And simultaneously, I'm going to resign from my position as chair of the election committee. Committee member and Height C director, Helene Harris, will complete the nominating of officers. It has been my pleasure to serve as chair of the election committee for the past 2 years. I now close nominations for president and turn over the balance of the procedure to my good friend Helene Harris. Helene?
Thank you, everyone. We'll just continue with Fred's good notes here. Do we have any nominations from the floor for first vice president? Hearing no nominations, we'll close the first vice president nominations. Do we have any nominations from the floor for second vice president? Hearing no nominations, we close the nominations for second vice president. Do we have any nominations from the floor for treasurer? Hearing no nominations, we close the nominations for treasurer. Do we have any nominations from the floor for financial secretary? Seeing and hearing no nominations, just changing it up there a little, we are closing the nominations for financial secretary. Do we have any nominations from the floor for budget director? Hearing no nominations, we now close the nominations for budget director. Do we have any nominations from the floor for recording secretary? I'm looking, it's like an auction, I'm looking for hands, people are scratching their noses or something, and I think, oh, they want it. No. Hearing no nominations from the floor for, that was recording secretary, we'll close those nominations. Do we have any nominations from the floor for sergeant at arms? Hearing no nominations from the floor, we close the nominations for sergeant at arms. Nominations are now closed.
Lynn,
Yes?
but you're in charge of the committee, is it, that's it?
I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, next report, security report with Steve Stein.
Good morning. Security report for the month of January 2022. We patrolled 4,552 miles in the village this month. We processed at the gate 3,242 commercial vehicles, 5,187 food deliveries. DoorDash is doing really good. And pre-authorized calls went down to 2,364, and we want to thank everybody who has updated their information with the ID office. We ask that all residents please update their information with the ID office and use the automatic system to call in their guests. Therefore, we ensure that we have a record of everybody coming and going. The crime stats for January, we had 3 incidents in the month, 2 vandalisms, and 1 resident assaulted another resident, some sort of dispute. That's it, 3 items, very good. Almost no crime here in the village, and we like to keep it that way. And if you see something, please report it to security. We do have somebody going around and putting flyers on cars. Security is looking for them. It's a resident who's being paid to do it. When you see them, call the gatehouses or call the security desk, and we will come out and immediately try and find out who that person is. We will immediately respond. That's my report for the month. Thank you.
Steve, what kind of, what is he putting, what are they putting on the cars? What does it say?
It says, we'll buy your car, Ron,
Okay, I just want to make sure that's, we know what it is.
for cash.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You get to a Mansfield age, how do you stop people from coming in when they don't live anymore without their address on the list?
If you know the person, come and see me personally, and we'll put a note at the gate looking for them, and then when they come in, we'll be able to go and tell the sheriff. The rule is if they have the ID, we have to let them in, but if we know they're not living here and can verify it beforehand, we'll get the sheriff involved and they'll go and confiscate their license.
Excuse me, if the delegates have a question, could they please go to the microphone so everybody could hear you? Thank you.
Gail Levine from Lincoln, and this is, can you hear me?
No.
Okay, Gail Levine.
Lower your mic a little.
Gail Levine from Lincoln. You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. We have the same problem going on and on and on and on. There are no trucks allowed at Lincoln on Saturday or Sunday. Yet the front is letting trucks in. Saturday we had a truck come in to make a delivery and we stopped them and I spoke to you and you said, well, I'll let the supervisor know. That's not an answer. This has been going on forever and ever and ever and we're getting no place. It's the same story. 2 weeks ago we had a truck come in, a van come in with a little trailer with hoses on it and we said to them, did you tell them you were going to Lincoln? And he said, oh, they didn't even ask us where we were going. They just said, you know, go ahead. This is getting to be not annoying, it's getting to be ridiculous. We have rules, we have to follow rules, you have to follow rules. There is no trucks. How difficult is it to explain to the people? You have a list. Lincoln, no trucks, weekends. Please. I am being beat up by people who don't care that there are no trucks allowed. They have a delivery, they're waiting for it, and they want their delivery. Why do we have to go through this every time?
Okay, Gail, we got the point. You made your point.
We'll get back
That's
to
it.
you.
The point is that they're not let them in.
The point
Thank
is
you.
that,
Okay, who's next?
yeah, that's my point.
Was there an answer?
Steve, I just want you to know this.
That's how much stuff we're ordering.
Go ahead.
Richard Diamond, Suffolk B.
Lower your mic.
The
Richard,
delivery,
lower your mic a little.
Steve, the delivery schedule form, I'm gonna tell you that Suffolk wants to go with the majority of what people are deciding because it's easier for the gatehouse. So I'm letting you know, whatever's decided, most associations, that's what Suffolk wants.
See me after the meeting, Richard. The form went out to all the presidents so we can standardize the entry hours and the hours and days for commercial vehicles and trucks and try to eliminate the issue that they're having in Lincoln and elsewhere. So see me after the meeting, Richard.
Okay. I knew you were gonna say that.
Anything else on the security? Thank you, Steve, we appreciate the job. Do you have something? You gotta walk back to the mic. Okay, Fred. I know it's a long walk.
Yeah, basically there's a difference between deliveries from Amazon.
Fred, please.
Oh, Fred Lisker, Wolverton. There's a big difference between local deliveries like packages from the U.S. from the Postal Service and from Amazon or from any other smaller deliveries. Basically, the concern basically for the associations on the weekends was always from movers, from furniture deliveries, people who are going to be there for long periods of time making deliveries. I think that's where the associations had their concern. We were peace and quiet over the weekends. Basically with Amazon, they're in, they're out. Food deliveries are in and out. I think that's where the associations would tend to agree, that to allow those carriers in, but in terms of movers and furniture deliveries and any other type of major deliveries, that's where the associations, take a stand. I had last week, 2 weeks ago, 1-800 junk coming in and unloading in an apartment. And how they got in, I have no idea, but they came in and they started causing havoc in terms of dumping their stuff into the trucks and making a huge amount of noise. So I don't know how they got into Wolverton, but in terms of any other smaller deliveries we allow.
Yes.
Elaine Harris, hi. I didn't understand, what was the answer to Gail Levine's question to security? Is Lincoln not allowed to have a different policy?
Each association makes up their own rules.
So what was the answer for Gail's question, which was why are they still going into Lincoln?
Steve, want to repeat the answer?
Thank you.
If you're looking for a specific answer about a specific incident, she's going to have to come to me and we'll find out exactly what happened. But in general, what security is doing is we sent out to all presidents a form. We're trying to standardize the start and end times for people coming in the village. That's
That's
it.
where my question is. It sounds like
Well, what's the question?
Lincoln won't be able to have something that isn't
That's
the
up to
same.
Lincoln. That's up to
So
Lincoln.
that's not what he's saying. He's saying standardizing. That's what I don't understand.
What's happening is each president, including your president, got a form saying that they would like to standardize all of the associations having deliveries at the same time. And as Fred said, but you can't do that with deliveries of food and Amazon. So what we're doing is we're getting answers from all of the presidents, and then we're trying to make out a standard delivery, the times that deliveries can be made. I don't think that's possible because each president, each association wants it at a different time. So what we're doing now is Lincoln has it where I assume on Saturday and Sunday there's no deliveries, no commercial trucks on Saturday and Sunday. So when the truck comes to a gate, they have to be told, I'm sorry, you can't go into Lincoln. So that's what it is. So maybe you may allow them in Heights, so they'll say, Heights, you can go in, but Lincoln, you can't. So it's not trying to standardize it.
So are they stopping them at the gate and asking them now what association they're going to?
What was that?
I'm trying to find out from security why Lincoln's having this problem, but I'm not getting an answer.
Well, that's Lincoln's problem, not Heights.
I'm asking as
Okay.
a concern.
You want to talk to her after the meeting, you can and ask her.
Thank you.
Larry Krakow, Exeter C. What's the policy when delivery trucks block your car, when they block, what is the policy when the delivery truck blocks the car? I mean, sometimes they just pull up and park behind cars and they stay there for like 10, 15 minutes and you can't move your car.
Right, let security answer, that's why he's here.
I don't have any specific policies for each of the associations. When somebody's delivering, they're delivering. If you're blocked in by that person, call the gate. and we'll come out and we'll ask the driver to move their car.
Thank you.
This is a condominium association. Everybody has to give and take a little bit. When your delivery comes, somebody else might have to wait a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Steve? Okay, Steve, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a committee for 2028. Now, what is 2028? 2028 is when it's possible that the residents of Century Village can buy this property and, do what you want with it. But the chairman of that committee is Sid Schwartz, and she's going to make a report now. Listen very carefully. This is very, very important.
At the executive board meeting last November, the presidents authorized retaining counsel to review the purchase and association documents and open a dialogue with the Levy organization regarding exercising the option to purchase in 2028. Peter has met with Mark and their legal and financial people, and he and Danny are now preparing a long-term action plan for us, including the creation of a new not-for-profit subsidiary corporation for Cobrua. The new corporation's sole purpose will be the proposed acquisition of the clubhouse and related facilities. We are hoping to be ready for Peter to present the proposed plan at our next executive board meeting on March 7th. Assuming the executive board agrees and votes to go forward, the vote must then be ratified by the delegates, and we hope to bring it to you at our meeting on March 8th. Each individual association board will also have to approve the plan. We hope to have the new corporation up and running with its own bank account before our meetings end for the summer months. I'm sure all the presidents will want the numbers for preparation of their budgets in the fall. It may seem like a lot of work to do now when 2028 seems a long way off. However, we're laying a solid legal and financial foundation for paying the legal, accounting, appraisal, engineering, title, and other expert fees over a period of years. This will make payment relatively painless on a monthly basis. Stay tuned. We will continue to keep you up to date. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Sid. You and the committee are meeting a lot, and we appreciate it. Okay, M&O Committee, Stanley Siegel. We want to do Committee Affairs first, Stan, then M&O.
Okay, we'll take one at a time. On Community Affairs, let me bring you, good morning, everyone. Let me bring you up to date as to what's happening in our area. The golf course on Glades near the Turnpike is owned by GL Homes. They're going to be building approximately 400 homes. I may be off a few. That's going to increase traffic in that area. The open lot next to the high school. There are two lots, one on the high school side and one on the other side. The high school side is going to have, GL Homes also owns that property. They're going to be building homes there. That's going to increase traffic on Lyons Road as well as 441. They wanted to have a entrance and exit on the street where the library is, North 95th Street. That was turned down by the commissioners. So right now, Lyons and 441 will get the brunt of the traffic. If you can picture this, north of Clintmore, west of 441, that's an open area. GL Homes will be building roughly 1,200 homes in that area, which again is going to increase traffic. So right now, our big problem is traffic, traffic, traffic. The West Boca Community Council has been pushing for a number of years to have a turnpike entrance and exit on Palmetto Park Road. They're picking it up again. This way it'll relieve traffic coming into the Glades area for the turnpike. Most of the traffic is coming from Parkland, which is in Broward County, and Broward. So hopefully, and we're asking all the residents to contact our commissioner, Maria Sachs, and tell her to push as much as she can for an entrance on Palmetto Park Road for the turnpike. Any questions?
Good morning, friends. My name is Elvin, Hansel Association. Stanley, on the next to the high school, Olympia, on the same side, how many homes or condos will they be there? Will they be rental also?
I think roughly 400. I'm not sure about rentals, but I know about 400 homes, approximately. I could be off a little.
And how do you affect all of these, the new construction affecting us?
I can't hear you.
How do you see that new construction affecting us besides the highway congestion?
Well, you're gonna have more cars in the area. It's gonna, besides all the traffic you get into the people going to the high school, picking up kids, dropping off kids, that's gonna pick up again on Lyons Road. 441 is gonna get heavy traffic for the exit and entrance into the new community. So it's gonna be a problem. And the answer is try and see if we can get some relief at the entranceway on Palmetto Park Road for the turnpike.
One last question. What do you see the prices being on those? Or do you have any idea what prices they're going to be?
The price, it'll take a wild guess, $1 million.
$1 million. Are they adult?
Give or take a couple $100,000.
Are they adult communities or regular communities? Anyone, any age?
I'm not a real estate person, but I know it's going to be expensive.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Siegel. Appreciate it.
Stanley, tell them about the teachers and the firemen.
What's that?
Policemen. Tell them about the special price for the policemen, firemen, and teachers.
There's going to be a section of homes for the first responders, like Mike said, police, firemen, and teachers, but it may not be exactly in that section. It may be built somewhere else, but there'll be a couple hundred homes built for those people.
Richard from Suffolk. To my knowledge, what I discussed and found out that
Richard, remove your mask for a second.
all these homes in this area, if anyone's interested, is an increase of value for our homes that we own here. As far as the taxes, we have an arrangement that keeps our property taxes low. Thank you.
We don't have an arrangement, Richard. we don't have an arrangement with the county appraiser to keep our taxes low. Stanley and I try to keep it low every year. We meet with them every year.
Well, that's what I'm referring to. I'm using the word arrange, whatever word you want to
But
use.
what Richard's saying is our property taxes will probably increase because of the new building of the new homes. And the traffic is going to be crazy around here. It's really going to be nuts. You can see it now. And the homes aren't even being built. And that's, Stanley, that's not even the one from the golf course yet, is there?
No.
There's more homes. Stanley, want to tell them about the golf course? We were really depressed them this morning. You want to tell them about the golf course?
Well, all the areas that I spoke about are owned by GL Homes. And the big problem is going to be in the Turnpike area on Glades, where the golf course is. You've got malls there, or you got strip malls there, and it's, like I said, it's going to be traffic, and I don't know what the answer is, but we're looking for some relief. We, have contacted our commissioners. We've gone to the Florida Department of Transportation. There's one other thing that I didn't mention. On Lyons Road between Glades and Palmetto Park, where they supposedly did some improving in the roadways, they did some fixing up, made some They made an S-curve near Escondido, and the bottom line is they didn't make the center mall wide enough. So the cars coming out of that area or across the street, if they want to make a U-turn, half of their cars sticking out in the roadway. So right now, Commissioner Sachs is trying to get a hold of the Florida Department of Transportation to see what sort of improvements we can have, because it's causing accidents, and instead of people slowing down at the S-curve, like over here, they keep flying. But it's going to be a big problem as we go along. Any other questions?
Is there a time frame with all of these homes are going to be built?
I think the first one they're going to be starting is near the golf course. The ones near the high school are in the planning stage. And the one on north of Clintmore and west of 441, the commissioners just approved the allowing to be built. It's now gone to Tallahassee for them to review, and it'll come back to the commissioner. So that's at least, I would say, a year off in that section, but it could be starting within the next 6 months, all of this, and you're gonna have a lot of trucks around. Any other questions? I'm gonna do M&O now, all right? Okay. The M&O committee met with management January 19th on a Wednesday. Present with Judy Milligan, our VP and site administrator, Monica Wells, Chief Financial Officer, Abby Koffler, Entertainment, and Dan Cruz, our facilities manager. He's a VP also. The entire committee was present at the meeting. One of the things that was still open is the balcony in the theater. And instead of having railings, we're putting in glass. And lo and behold, today the glass came, so that section should be open pretty soon. There was a question raised about in the Lowe's section, right in back of the orchestra, about railing obstructing views for the shorter people like me, which I don't sit there anyway, but that's besides the point. I spoke to Dan, and we can put glass in there to replace the railings, but there may be a few railing posts required in order to have a safety issue. All right, with the COVID variant, one after another, I don't know when it's ever going to end. The people have been coming to the theater more often now. Hopefully they're wearing their masks, for safety precaution. And we hope this year, even though we always make a profit on the theater, we're hoping this year to break even. We have a problem with the Academy of buses, dropping oil on our pavement, our driveway. So we're trying to resolve that situation. We've turned it over to our legal department to get a hold of Academy and see how we can come up with a settlement. The speed indicators that you have on both roadways, New England and Century Village Boulevard, seem to be working. Cars slow down as they approach the signs, and then they pick up speed again. So it's half helpful, half not helpful. Collections for the month of December total $50,000. These are monies we collect from delinquent accounts. Over 70% of that go back into our treasury that we do for our budget. We are extending the holiday lighting contract, so we're going to have lights on the trees all year round. You're not going to have the green or the blue lights on top of the trees, but it'll look good when you come into the area. Any questions regarding my report? You have to go to the microphone. And lower your mask, please, so it'll be easier to hear you.
Stanley, where on New England are these lights?
When you say lights,
What you just said on New England and Kimberly to slow down the
traffic
traffic.
indicators,
Where are they on New England?
they move them around. I think
They
were
move them
like
around?
midway through. The one on New England is in for repair, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe that's why I never seen them. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to know if, did you ever consider if there's a mask mandate, more people might buy tickets for shows?
When you say a mask mandate, what do you mean? Mandatory?
Yes.
It's very difficult. We went through this last meeting. It is very difficult to enforce a mask mandate that you must wear a mask in the theater.
Okay. Why would that be difficult?
Because you're going to, all right, everybody comes in with a mask and then they lower it. So somebody says to the usher, ooh, look, the person took down their mask here, there, and there. Do you interrupt the show at that point? It's something we've discussed, but there's no easy answer. You cannot disrupt the show.
I realize that, but if we made a mask mandate in the clubhouse, more people might wear masks.
What's that?
If there was a mask mandate,
It's
more
not
people...
mandatory. It's asking you to, voluntarily, we're asking you to wear a mask when you're in with a group of people.
I don't think you understand this question.
Okay.
Nobody ever
Any other questions?
Okay, that's it. Stan, do you want to say anything about the cable committee?
Okay. In December, we sent, the cable committee is made up of 6 people, 6, of us who've had experience. Most of us go back to Adelphia. That's before Comcast came on the scene and took over Adelphia. And we have a pretty good experienced group, so we're all confident we know what we're doing, contrary to what you may hear from other people. One person, really. In December, we sent out to 5 cable companies. We sent out to AT&T, Atlantic Broadband, they're the ones that are up in West Palm. Fission, Hotwire, they're in Boca West and some other areas. Blue Stream, which is fairly new and only in Florida. And of course, Comcast. 4 have responded, and we've had preliminary meetings with them. The only one that we haven't heard from officially is AT&T. At first, they never acknowledged that we sent them a letter. Then about a week ago, I got a letter, and they told me to call a certain number. And after 10 minutes on the phone and nobody responding, I gave up. But finally, they came back to me. They said they're going to forward it to the unit that handles proposals. And if you hear the phone ring, that'll be them calling me. And this is how it stands with AT&T. But we've had meetings with the 4 other companies. We're having a final proposal meeting within the next week or so, going back and forth what we have, what they can offer us. And then we're going to ask them for an official proposal with a bid in a sealed envelope, and hopefully to have it by, last week in February, so we can go over and come up with a solution by March. Any questions? Fred looks like he's having a question.
No.
No?
No?
Okay.
Okay,
You
thank you,
faked me
Stan.
out.
All right, thank you, Stan.
Okay.
We have old business for the delegates only. Anybody have anything on the old business? Does any of the delegates have anything on the new business? Do any delegates have anything on the good and welfare? Do any of the delegates, do any of the residents have anything on the good and welfare? Yes. Okay, Fred.
Alan Glickman, Suffolk G. My question is, why are the Academy buses allowed to idle in excess of 2 or 3 minutes? Sometimes they're idling there for 10 minutes, spewing carbon monoxide gas. And you have people sitting there in front of the clubhouse, and I'm sure anybody with any respiratory ailment is going to be affected by those fumes.
The new buses that we have basically do not spit out that many fumes. We've tested them, and right now it seems to be working in a positive manner that it is not as bad as we had with the old buses. And the answer to the reasons the bus is idle is to keep the motors in good shape.
Also, we have the same standards as California, which is the best, is the safest in the country. We insisted that the standards of the buses idling and be the same as California.
You know, the buses are manufactured in California. That's why, and we ask that they stick to their standards.
Yes, sir.
My name is Carmen from Suffolk Key. I was just wondering if you pay your condo dues, maybe you say like 6 months in advance, if you can get a discount. And one other thing, Mr. Levy was very generous to let us use the clubhouse for the vaccine, and I was one of the beneficiaries of that. And also, I know any improvement here in Century Village is like putting money in your own bank account. But anyway, that's all we need here is a McDonald's and a Burger King. We got everything else. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Fred Hadley, Cornwall E. A couple of things as far as the political situation in this area. I've been told that a preliminary redistricting map has been published in the Miami Herald that may place this village in the same representative district as the city of Boca Raton. All right, now this doesn't mean that there's going to be any change in your taxes. In fact, I'm told that the property taxes are actually lower in the city of Boca Raton. But this is just a preliminary thing. There'll be a final decision made by the end of the month, I'm told, up in Tallahassee. That would affect the office of state representative. We're currently represented by Kelly Skidmore. The other thing is our county commissioner for District 5, which is what our district is, voted no. There was a 5-to-1 vote by the Palm Beach County Commission last week on the GL home community below Olympic Heights. And she was the lone dissenter, and her statement that she gave to the Village Century was, yes, we need more housing, but we must also address traffic and other issues with all this development. And the other thing is the vote for the property north of Clintmore and west of 441, that has not been finally approved yet, but it was just an approval to go forward and further study it. And that was a 4-to-3 split vote by the Palm Beach County Commission. And again, our county commissioner, Maria Sachs, was one of the 3 that opposed it. Former Mayor Dave Kerner and Mac Bernard were the other dissenters to that. As far as, I just want to say that I had a chance to go check out the new theater recently. I went to see a movie. I'm not yet ready for shows yet because of it's more crowded and so on. But I did go to see the theater. Many of you know I spent 40 years working as a projectionist, so I was very eager to check out the new theater. I want to commend the management and the M&O committee for doing a fantastic job. The theater looks great. The sight lines are wonderful. It's a pleasure sitting there. You can see everything. I also like the cross aisle. When you first come in from the lobby, there is a hidden aisle that I didn't even see it in the plans, and that would allow people to move left or right without disturbing the people sitting in the last rows. And then when you get to the end, you would go down either aisle. I think that's wonderful. I did sneak a tape measure in and measure the steps in both the orchestra and the balcony, and they're both around 5.5 inches, just the same height as our association steps. The original plan, I believe, was for a 7-inch step in the balcony, and I and one or two other people suggested that might be a little difficult for some physically challenged people. So again, I think the theater looks great. The only complaint that I have is that for movies, the lighting is much too powerful and it tends to wash out the image. Again, I'm a projectionist, so it's my business to know about this sort of stuff. But there's aisle lights and there's sconces and there's also a large blue illuminated panel right around where the cross aisle is. And that doesn't affect the live shows because the more light on the performers' faces, the better. But when you're showing movies, and I learned this in the AV squad in Bryan High School, you shut your lights down as low as possible to get the best possible image. However, I'm sure that can be adjusted, but I think they did a wonderful job, and I think we should all be proud of that theater, and I'm hoping once the COVID thing passes to be a regular patron of the new theater. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I don't know. Any other questions from non-delegates? I have a motion to adjourn. And please do me a favor. I say this every month. Tell him your name and where you live, because he says to me after every meeting, Michael, you didn't get the name of the people who did it. I said, make it up. No, go ahead. So Al DiPietro, you making a motion to adjourn? Do we have a second? Okay, Karen, we got it. Thank you very much for the meeting. See you next month.
Ladies, have a good day.